today we've segued perfectly into one of our topics, which is something an editor of ours sent, which is this new trend of AI ASMR videos. We've slowly been collecting the infinity stones of AI taking our jobs. And I guess
I already hate this.
I know.
So much.
I'm a little nervous because it's also one of those things where the content is successful and the comments are into it and not asking very many questions. And this is why regulation is important. Because like if left to our own id and left to our own like we're just not going to stop the convenience or no one has the time to be as discerning as I can be when my job is being discerning online, you know?
So these are very like so satisfying kind of vibes,
which has already been like a terraformed part of the internet in favor of like content farms.
Right.
So that's already.
It does feel like a race to the lowest common denominator of just like, what can I do? Can I do a thing that triggers something? Right. Like that is purely all this is.
It's literally it feels like it's a machine that is positively reinforced when it creates dopamine in a human's brain.
Yes, exactly. Okay, all right.
Okay, so it's a Minecraft glass
of course.
block. 360,000 likes, so that's incredibly successful.
This is great for, the next era of sixth graders to talk about. Remember when you first saw the Minecraft cube?
It's hijacking like Peeps' brain.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, this is for you.
This is for me.
This has been scientifically engineered for... Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
That one's not even a good noise.
It's an ouchie noise, in my opinion.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
I can see why this is successful.
I do. Okay, yeah. The fact that this is AI generated is like not surprising to me. Of course, this is the things that you would put into an AI that's like, what's gonna be successful? ASMR, Minecraft, and
Knife
just a sharp knife.
Yeah, and things that you can train, that we can generate millions of hours of footage to train on illegally, probably, most likely. Not officially licensed, most likely, probably. Hand cam cutting stuff.
Here's something that I think I've realized about AI in general for me, where like I've always been a hater, I always will be, because I'm simply like I know that it is not that I think that AI as a tool and as like a research subject is not worthwhile. It's that I know how capitalists work, and I know that anyone who immediately finds something that is going to quote unquote increase productivity while also cutting costs, as in getting rid of people, I know that they will
this
always.
This is the perfect equation for something like that.
This is the like in the same way. This is the thing where it's like, well, why would anyone want to tap their fingers on a thing when they could just generate it themselves and get the perfect one? And it's like, that's not the point of what we're doing here.
It's the same thing with music, because there have been something I've talked about kind of over the years, a increasingly common trend of trying to create virtual musicians and virtual influencers, not like your Hatsune Mikus of the world, not like your like VTubers, like where it's a person kind of puppeting a thing, which can be an artistic expression, but quite literally like creating something that is wholly owned by the studio, or a real industry plant that doesn't have feelings, can't ever be overworked, can always infinitely produce, and just provide free money, like infinite money glitch. It's like basically like what everybody's after.
I think that is also okay. Here's the best way I can describe what this video is like causing in my brain right now. You know, when somebody's like, hey, I had this wild dream last night, and they tell it to you for 15 minutes, and the entire time you're like, I do not care about what this dream was. And the reason behind that is because it's a dream, and the dream has no logic, and anything can happen in it, and therefore there are no stakes, and there is no like sure, if you're telling it to me because you want me to like figure out how this is about your dad somehow, sure, I can talk to you about that.
And my dad was there and he was mean to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think this is about my dad?
But if you're trying to tell it to me as a story, as like, wasn't this so funny that this happened in the story, I have no connection with it because it's a dream that doesn't actually exist.
Exactly.
In the similarly, when somebody describes to me a D&D campaign thing,
Or
that
an
they did,
improv show.
or an improv show,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm a little bit more into magic, so I can pick up on all the weird things that
But
are happening.
sometimes it's a lot to catch on to, yeah.
When someone's like, oh, I did this thing and this thing and this thing, I'm like, cool, that's just what the rules laid out for you, so of course that happened. Like, or you improvised a thing, and that's what we do when
Right.
we're creating something together. But there's no like there was no like trying to absorb that story as if it is as important as you telling me how your mom got hit by a car. That's never going to be the same, because one of those has stakes and one of those doesn't.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Same
It's
with
not grounded
this.
in anything.
If I can watch someone who has actively chosen to do a thing as an ASMR artist, and they have decided to cut these certain things, that's an interesting thing that they've chosen to do. They've made this thing. This is a dream to me. This means
It's a dream.
nothing. It triggers all the same like
It's the
bells.
high fructose corn syrup, right? It like we weren't meant to have this much access to refined sugar. Not meant to, but like our bodies, it's like the technology is going to evolve faster than our bodies and our minds can evolve.
Yeah.
And there are risks to that. But yeah, this does feel like jacking into the dopamine factory or
Yeah, because
whatever.
like, isn't part of the fun of those knife videos is that the knife is really sharp and it's cutting something that would be hard to cut or that you wouldn't normally cut into, right?
Yeah.
So if it's like a foam thing, you're like, ooh, the foam makes an
I
interesting
think the sounds
noise
too, but that's the thing is like, of course we can steal a bunch of ASMR creators like high quality audio recordings of certain sounds, and we can label it and train an AI to reproduce it. Human intent is an important aspect of creation that this to me is like, it just feels like Cocomelon for adults, you know, like
100%
where
that.
it's like a baby can't perceive of the intentionality behind art, so it is just like, okay, let me jingle some keys or whatever.
This is the jingling keys, and I think it is so important to recognize that like it does rewire your brain. Like when you watch enough of this stuff, you will start to crave like
I need the pure, like I can't watch these analog ASMR videos anymore. I gotta get the pure stuff.
Yeah, like truly, I'm just surprised that this isn't just like, here is an amalgamation of random images and then all of the most immediately triggering ASMR sounds, all one right after
It's
another.
getting close to like, it's getting close to consuming an entertainment unit.
Yeah.
You know, it's you go and it's just like it blasts your brain full of color and sound.
Yeah, it very much. Anytime, again, going back to the dream thing, if someone's like, I asked Grok this thing, and I'm like, well, congratulations, like you talked to yourself essentially.
Yeah.
Like this is just reflecting back the things that you want. And whenever anyone is like, but imagine a world where you could just be like, I want an action movie that is this long and has this kind of thing, I'm like, that does not sound appealing to me. That could only ever sound appealing to an
Yeah.
Like,
it can only sound appealing to an executive because their incentive is not the same thing as what an artist, like, obviously there is a profit motive even in art for artists, but usually at its purest form, an artist is expressing something with their art. And when you boil it down to just profit, then you just get, anything to make a quick buck, and nothing means anything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not an ASMR guy, but it's like pleasing. They've created something that's pleasing to look at.
Also,
I'm not going to
play
deny that.
a little bit more, because there was something else pleasing about this. The little cubes falling out for some reason.
And like this is like
that
in the
happens
soap
in a
cutting
video
videos.
game.
Yeah.
As like a reward. So there's like a reward center in my brain that's
that
like,
triggers
ooh.
that.
And in like soap cutting videos, when the soap starts to shard off into a bunch of little pieces. All I can do, like, I'm relatively powerless when it comes to regulating AI. And I also do not think that the American government would ever regulate something related to AI more quickly, like in a preventative fashion. Like that, there's just no universe. And also that's not going to happen very quickly. So this is in the move fast and break things, wild west of, we found a new gold rush. We're not considering any of the risks of that. We are simply racing to capture as much gold as possible, because eventually this market will become so saturated that you have to do more work to get, you have to mine deeper, harder, better, faster, stronger in order to get the oil, to get the resource out of the earth. And right now it's like a cheap thing. This is just generated with VO3. I'm sure it is difficult to, in some capacity, or else even more people would be doing it successfully. But people who don't take AI advancement seriously, a few months ago, are like, the fingers, they're never gonna get fingers right. That's how I know. Well, look at these
already.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
they're beautiful.
And that's, okay, relax. And like, that's a thing where I'm like, when things proliferate and grow, we will continue to identify trends, the AI look, to be able to identify these things as people. But I will say that I'm at least a bit concerned that the AI will catch up to patch those perception holes.
It's gonna be, I think that
it's a moving target.
Yeah, there will always be an element of like, you can't know what you're looking at, and that's a very scary thing to get used to as we go into whatever this future is. Like, there is certainly, I've seen the jokes online about how it's like, when I'm in the nursing home, the kid will be like, oh no, my teacher, they're an AI, you didn't notice that they said Coca-Cola wrong? Like that kind of thing, where it's like, we're all going to be moving as we like are absorbing these new technologies that are both frightening and moving at such a clip, because all we want is for them to make things more productive. And like, I think that's like the thing that always gets me with this kind of thing, is when people are like, but it gets rid of all that boring stuff, like practicing and perfecting your art and doing the and all the stuff that makes you feel worthwhile in life and you enjoy. And it's like, no, quit it. That's not the stuff that I want to.
We've talked before about when it's like a drawing and it's like, anyone can do this. It's like, anyone can draw too.
Yeah,
You just have to...
AI is making art accessible. That was the most accessible thing for anyone to do ever. And Jordan started doing this thing in which I started doing it after him, was just going, when's life?
Yeah.
Hey, when's life? When do I do? Like, if you don't want to practice, if you don't want to get good at your own thing, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What we need to remember is that there's such a fear of being cringe. But there should be a bigger fear of being lame, because if you're cringe, all right, being cringe means you've tried a thing that you have been excited about, and maybe it comes out weird, and like, yes, you've learned how to do a full K-pop dance in your fedora, and maybe that's cringe, but you also learned how to do the full dance. That's great. If this, when you're like, it is more cringe for me to write an essay about something I'm passionate about and about a storyline that I like than it is for me to just ask ChatGPT to do this. But that is infinitely lamer. That is so much lamer to just be like, I would rather not do a thing, so that way I'm never putting myself in a vulnerable position, because that scares me. And like, you should be more afraid of being lame.
There might be a cultural disconnect here, but there's a lot of look, they're trying to do something. That guy over there, I remember when I started a YouTube channel I posted about it on Facebook, people were like, oh look, he's doing a little thing.
Yep.
And then until you do it to an extent, and then people are like, oh, that's actually valid.
Yeah.
It's actually a thing you can do as your career or whatever. I feel like that happens with art, right? Like, you draw like, if I drew a drawing right now and it wasn't very good and I showed it off to people, there's a certain amount of pity, I feel like, that some people would feel if I was proud of my bad drawing. And then if I got really good after putting out like a shitty drawing, then suddenly it's like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And that progress, that journey, I think is an inherently valuable journey.
And I also think that there's a lot in our society of looking back at current people who are succeeding in art and retconning all of the stuff they did as good up until that point, and that is not true. Like, everyone loves to talk about there's a Christopher Nolan like student film that's about a guy in a box that like is also trying to squash himself in a box. It's like cool and interesting and meta. I don't think it's great, but it's also like I see where he was going from there. But like everyone goes back to that and they're like, look at how perfect he was when he made that short film. And it's like, no, that student film looks like a student film. It's not polished, it's not perfect, there's some interesting things in it, and then he used that to get better. And like that is I think a very scary thing, is especially now with everything being online and people, myself included, scrubbing old videos and like trying to get things away, whether that's just because you grew out of it or you didn't want to have that thing because you were like, oh, this wasn't as good as I could have made it. You get so afraid of the process getting to a thing that you think you have to be good at the very beginning,
because the process is cringe. Because like I cringe so often looking back on things that I've done. But it's not lame.
Not lame. Exactly.
And it's like, you know, to cringe, I agree with to become cringe is to be free, you know, embrace cringe and all that, because we create so many artificial roadblocks for ourselves, and they stop us from realizing potential, because maybe you're like me, and when you were younger, like you didn't want to do things that you weren't initially very good at, because it was so embarrassing.
There was a video I saw the other day of someone cutting a real thing, and it was supposed to be like, is the inside of this thing going to be cake or steak? And then they cut it and it was an apple, and that's funny. That's good. That's funny, and I enjoyed that so much more than something like this. Where it's like, someone actually just like made a video and they made it a joke and it was good.
Recreating AI Part 9, Minecraft block cutting. I love this.
Yeah, like
this is great.
Is this a fudge block?
I think it might just be clay.
Clay. Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, something crispy.
What's crunchy in there?
Eat it.
It could be.
It looks good.
Chocolate with nuts in it.
Yeah, or they added the sounds
I was gonna say.
Oh yeah.
It's so imperfect and lovely.
It's just like, it's so silly.
That's great.
I love it.
The one thing I have here is that I'm sure there are people who are out there being like, oh, but like, who needs real ASMR when we can just get like the mainline stuff that's like pure uncut, pure cut, I suppose. Little Minecraft blocks, and it's great, but it's like that will always be the case, is like, well, we don't need writers for a thing because we got this thing to write. We don't need actors because we got this other thing.
We have the Writobot 9000.
Exactly. And there will always be that thing. There are some people out there who are like, oh, this is going to destroy writing. I don't believe that. I think like there will always
Hollywood
be people
is doomed.
who want to listen to people's writing. Like this is always more important than a new technology is the constant storytelling thing that humans have done forever.
The fact that something comes from a human mind is an important part of how you can connect to it. And I feel like that's like not talked about enough, where I think that people's like the AI accelerationists or whatever who are like, Hollywood's doomed, check out this like trailer, and it's a bunch of like lens flares and like it just looks like you're watching a dream. You know, and it's like, okay, well, there's no intentionality behind this. And it's like, no, I gave prompts for each of the scenes.
Well, and often, so I think we're actually in a pendulum swing right now where independent film is kind of having a resurgence. It's getting more and more popular, and I think that's kind of in response to the fact that we've been given cotton candy for quite a while. And so I think that there's always going to be these swings.
It happens in music. It just happens in everything. It's like we get like the 2000s. I feel like a lot of our clothes looked way more futuristic. And it's like, okay, then we relaxed. And then like we'll probably get...
Maybe in 500 years, our robot overlords are going to be listening to this, laughing all the way to the bank.
Absolutely.
Wow, they really thought... Anyway, back to my cutting videos.
And they're going to be wearing like cargo capris.
Slay, Queen Bot.